Don't. I am so going to put myself in trouble. You can't delete this at any point, right?
Well, it might be a little late because we're already live.
We're not live, are we?
I think so.
You kidding me?
Yeah, time is up. So we gotta start this whole thing.
Is it really live?
We're starting with my signature laugh. So thank you everybody watching this week's Coffee with Kyan. It's quite a different special episode. I kind of dragged this person that had been traveling for the past 48 hours and gave him a last, of course, my usual last and 24-hour notice.
Yeah,
And then this whole thing. Gary Dytor, everybody. So I have a round of applause for Gary Dytor. So Gary, thank you for coming on board with me today.
Thank you very much, matey. It's I thought I was going to get away with it for a few more weeks, but with everybody else that's with the UK guys coming over and then all the other staff getting involved, I thought I was going to a few more weeks.
It's been a busy couple of months. Yeah, and you're actually the reason that partially I started this whole idea. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so, and then run with it for a little while until we try to get it right. And then I think we kind of get it right.
I think we're getting it there. Yeah, I think it's a great thing. Actually, it's something a bit different, a little bit certainly innovative when you consider how it fits with our company culture. And I think it's a good thing. You do it very well. You get lots of compliments.
He's gradually avoiding the camera and all. So this is a general area. You want to see where Mandy is looking, and then the doggies, and then the family back in the UK. Gary, this is quite a special episode. Obviously, and any folks that's watching this video, please do let us know how the sound quality is as well. And we're more than happy to troubleshoot it throughout any time period. But Gary, it's been a long journey with IT Works.
Yeah, 2005. So what's that now? 13 years? 12, 13 years now?
Yeah.
So, April 2014 was when the group, if you will, or IT Works Recruitment Limited in the UK was founded. Tim Bash and Darren Mills were the founding members.
Oh, good catch. We'll make it work. All right. Keep talking. We're trying to make this work.
I'll let you get yourself organised first.
Oh, goodness. All right, keep talking.
So,
Tim is probably watching this video too.
And laughing, I had no doubt. I'm sure there's more than Tim just laughing. Yeah, as long as it balances.
It actually feels like the spirit of one of our many conference calls.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Maybe Alistair's been there and ESP'd it and make it fall or something.
Juju.
Yeah, hi Alistair. So yeah, April 2004 was when IT Works was formed, IT Works Limited, back in the UK, Preston. Founder members Tim Bashall and Darren Mills. I joined them, I think it was September 2005. They were a year in. The USP of the company back then was quite simply they were the only true IT recruitment company in the northwest of the UK outside of Manchester. So really the whole model was built around IT and anything to do with IT back then. We weren't niche, not to start with, but we through our relationships that we'd built, and Darren in particular with regards to the healthcare, had done some really good stuff with the IT, in the IT support side with a local NHS trust. And we kind of pieced it together where all of a sudden we started to find niches in the healthcare. We'd done some business with a system called IFS for a number of clients and realised actually this could be quite niche, so we started rolling with that. I took that on, let's say 2006, let's say I took IFS on something of early 2006, and then we grew from there and added on probably another half a dozen systems, many of which we are number one in today globally. There aren't many other much competition in many of the things that we do. So we grew that to a team of probably about 40 odd. I think when I left there in 2013, I actually left IT Works at Christmas. No, it's actually April 2013, Limited, because we decided as a board that we needed to look outside the box and really increase our growth. We'd just gone through a major recession. We were still, it was recession. The model was recession busting, if you will, but and we'd still managed to grow through that recession. So we felt coming out the other side of it, there was an opportunity for us to. Yeah, it was.
How many competitors have went under at that time? It's quite scary, especially for IT recruitment.
Yeah, quite. It was a scary time for Mono when you hear all the horror stories of businesses closing left, right, and centre, and people becoming insolvent through
People
just
becoming numbers.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have to make any redundancies. If anything, we hired. We still grew through that time. Come out of it at 2009, 2010, and felt that was the time for us to start growing and looking outside the box. While we were, we actually got laughed at about coming to the US. You wouldn't believe, because many recruitment companies in the UK were expanding to the Philippines, were expanding to Australia, trying Japan and China. Which were really, really untapped and unproven from a UK company's perspective. It was only really the big conglomerates really that really had tried that and done it anyway successful. And we decided America was what we wanted to do, because it facilitated the businesses that we already knew, facilitated the niches that we already knew. We knew the talent was certainly in America for us to be able to bring on great resources. So we decided that that's what we were going to do. I left the group in April 13. Worked from my kitchen table. I had to learn how to be a recruitment consultant again, because I was a director for 3 or 4 years before with this venture. And well, the rest is history, as they say. I moved over here in May 14. Built the business from my kitchen table. We moved over here. Our longest-serving employee, Kelly, she's been with us pretty much from the beginning, and we're now. We've grown in 3.5. Well, we've achieved our 5-year plan in 3.5 years. So the Americans like to talk about the big numbers, so we'll talk the big numbers.
The American dream.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're going to be between 11 and $13 million company this year. 30 employees now. Plans to add another 10 to 15 before the year's end. So we're going to go in with a big boom approach. And lots of other projects on the horizon to kind of, I don't know if you want to go into this now, but our vision is to be a $100 million company within the next 5 to 7 years. I think we can do it in 5, and it's a different model altogether. But we've got the
diversify the business, but not losing the spirit of who we are, how we do things.
Exactly. Culturally, we'll stay the same. We'll still run our 360 model, we'll still run our expertise, we'll still be considered experts in our markets, but we're going to go more into a volume-driven business, but try to pull our IT Works essence on it. That'll also complement our niche business, but actually facilitate our growth, like dynamic growth. At the moment, everything is all about organic growth. So as one consultant becomes very good and they want to grow, the philosophy is always about growing teams around people. So now we're saying, okay, well, look, we've done that, we know how to do that, we're very good at doing that, and we've got some really inspirational people. The guys behind me, for example, they're inspirational, and so let's try and break the boundaries a little bit and try to increase our growth other than just exponentially.
I've heard directly from the man, there are lots of opportunities here, and then from before, present, I'll be going to the future as we grow.
Yeah. The whole theory of coming out here was, yes, to grow IT Works, and we've now got a group of companies of which there are 5 divisions, 4 divisions, 5 divisions. MyTech back in the UK that specialises in various ERP systems. You've got Limited, which is very much focused towards the Salesforce marketplace. You have the health. We have Popular, and then we have Inc. over here. But Inc. over here has also we've fractured off slightly, where we've now got 3 divisions. And who knows where that's going to be. We're about to put another one here for our VMS business in the future. So, like I say, I come over here to not just for an opportunity for me. It was an opportunity for everybody that came to work for us. It wasn't just for me to come and work in America and enjoy the American dream, as they say. It was really to
driving the big car.
Yeah,
you guys have a big car.
Yeah, Mustang, baby. But to create opportunities for everybody, yourself inclusive. I mean, this was part of your goals and aspirations to get involved heavily in the training side and create a brand that will be susceptible to our magnetic culture of attracting staff. So why wouldn't we offer you that opportunity to diversify yourself and follow your dreams? It's brilliant,
Thank you.
No, who are we to stifle dreams? If I can facilitate somebody's growth and dreams, then absolutely we'll do that every day.
That dream is so big, and I think that obviously that's coming all different. It's all relative. The scope of dream. I think that we have a very global audience. Obviously, we have a very diverse workforce.
Yep.
Now have family that between US, UK, and we have several people that are in Asia, and some folks are tied to Australia as well.
Yep.
Really having that global community. Back in when everything was still back in that little office in the early. That's bring back to the UK time. In the 05, 04, 05, 06, 07, when did this global domination come into play at the time?
I think there were, from certainly Tim and Darren, and even when I joined, it was always, we thought that we could do a lot more, and we could be a lot bigger than probably what we even set out to be. I think Tim and Darren would agree with me that it was probably a lifestyle business for them to start with. But I think maybe at some point the realization kicked in as actually we could do something really cool here, really special, not just for ourselves, but for people to come and work with us. And it's not been easy. People have come and gone, and we've made lots of mistakes and throughout the whole journey. But those that are with us, those that stayed with us, I think are better for it. I hope that there's a big level of trust in us as the CEOs and owners, the business owners from the start. But likewise, it's a two-way street. So, but I think I hope that everybody sees. I mean, we've won lots of awards about being the best company in Atlanta and in the UK. They just won the Big Inc. 500 as best companies to work for, and we've won industry awards, etc., etc. I hope they're not just fallacies. I hope that they actually do mean something. Because they do to me personally. I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the UK, everything that we've achieved there and that they've achieved, and the transformation that they've had to go through through the times. I think, as businesses grow, things happen that you may or may not expect. And we'll feel them here. The good thing is
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Thanks, Mr. Gilbert. You had your time.
You don't take your coat off, Ray.
Yeah, and obviously that with all those awards, we're actually looking at them right now. And at 3 o'clock, I just got hit. And then obviously the awards are not just fluffy things. I think that, like you said, they mean something to us, either from employee standpoint. Yeah. Those are employee surveys I made that we got the awards, and some client experience and candidate experience.
Yeah.
So to you personally, you've been on both sides of things. You've been a recruitment consultant in the past yourself, still sustaining your business, but now on the, like I said, being a business owner. How do you see all those things, the accolades to what you do?
More as a recruitment consultant, it didn't really mean a lot to me, if I'm honest with you. I was all very much driven.
Not be fluffy.
No, I'm not. I was just very driven to be the best that I can be and grow a team around me. That was really important to me. I'm probably a little bit older, got into recruitment a little bit older than most people, so I was maybe a little bit different types of aspirations. It wasn't for me. It wasn't just about the money or the accolades or anything. As I had a management background and I wanted to do that again. I think, but I think as I've grown in through the ranks, to manager, director, owner, they seem to mean an awful lot more because you start to realise that I was just, my views back then as a recruitment consultant don't really matter as much, but people do view them and they do mean something to people. And something we're very proud of. We had this clear strategy on how we wanted to go for the awards through our industry. We wanted to make sure that we had industry awards and that our peers saw us as a favourable company to work for, or from the experience that we give the client and candidate. Which means obviously the clients and candidates see that. So you realise that people do view your awards, especially now with social media, they're a lot more relevant. And also the local awards, because obviously our culture, well, our culture being the magnetic culture to attract staff and keep them here. It's important that we're able to show them that we are a good company to work for, and that the best of staffing comes from our employees. So that means a lot to me, because as much as how proud I am of the company and of them, it's kind of rescinded when they vote and say, yeah, we are a pretty good company to work for. So.
That's a whole another spectrum of the full 360, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very different over here. They don't do the 360 model very much, so we really are having to teach something very, very new, and for most people it's refreshing. There are a lot of self-imposed limitations that people have generally, and typically in recruitment in the US anyway, you're either the sales or your recruiter. Yeah. Whereas here we try to package the whole thing. So it's the only way to become an expert in the market. And the guys have embraced it brilliantly. It's an amazing thing when you see somebody overcome a fear, and whether that
And put in their spin on it, and their brand, and their personality, and everything else.
That's
all
it.
of that.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite funny that decades ago, when recruitment really just you go out to business and trying to deliver and fulfill the business, and somehow that through over time, it creates all these fractures, and people only know and what they know, or what they're being taught to.
Well, it makes you one-dimensional, doesn't it? It doesn't really give you much of a, you're going to hear this word entrepreneur banding around an awful lot, but to most people, it doesn't really mean a great deal, honestly, and it's overused phrase. For most people, they're more entrepreneurs than entrepreneurs. But the thing that I really focus on, if you want to talk about entrepreneurial side, is the spirit. What does an entrepreneur have? Well, he's a guy that can go and do something, and do whatever it takes to be a success, and that's what we try to really instill in our people here. And I think we get it. We do get it actually, because there isn't one person in this room that I wouldn't say, in one way or another, that they're not brilliant. There's everyone brings something new to the table. We're very equal. We don't have a ranking system. Nobody's senior or junior. You either have qualified from the trainee level or you haven't. That's simple.
And training would mean that usually 3 deals. The first 3 placements, I think American term.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to explain that 3 deals. What do you mean by deals? Placements.
Here we go with the Garyisms again, right?
And sometimes how we call things are a little different.
Yeah.
And then it's funny that the more question I got from either incoming applicants or prospective individuals, that what do you guys do out there? It looks like you guys all those fun, all those cool colors in the background, people shooting guns at you, toy guns, just kidding, and a big pool table behind me. And then I think we create something that's very special for the people.
It is. It was so we realised after being a year here, we grew that quickly that we had a 5-year lease on something that we were only going to spend 2.5 years in. So we started looking pretty early, and I knew that I wanted to create a very flexible environment. More of what I term as grown-up recruitment, where you're not put in a little cage or a little cubicle somewhere to do your job. It's non-collaborative. There's no interactions with people. It literally is there's your little rabbit hutch and call as many people as you can. But you can't really learn. That's not an environment for learning. It's not an environment for being the best you can be, and it's certainly not an environment that I would enjoy working in. So why ask people to do something you wouldn't like to do yourself? So we do have a culture in the UK of very open planned offices. I don't know if that's to cram more people in or just to create more of an atmosphere, but for me it was more so that create an open plan space so we can have some flexible space, give the tools and the softwares and for people to be able to be anywhere in the world, and the phone system rings to their mobile, so they don't have to be sat at their desk. They can be, as you said, playing pool, or over here talking to you and I maybe, or sat in the gym, and you see people sitting in the gym doing their work, But it was to have that, do you want to call it googly? I mean, call it googly, a little bit googly, because it's open to play, it's open span, and it's pretty, and it's good colours. But I think it's more the attitude that we bring. It's more that you're a grown up. You look after your own destiny. I shouldn't have to stand there and KPI the hell out of you, because that's not what I want to do. You're a grown up. You're in a recruitment business, which the business is to place people in jobs where they stay, to impact people's lives positively. Be as best you can be, and we'll create the environment that will really help foster you becoming the best you can be.
Yeah, I want to thank you for sharing that specifically, because I think that we log in day out getting the different type of publications, or even on LinkedIn. People always talk about work, job versus career. I think you're the one actually, something that really hit home for me, specifically when I first started talking about lifestyle, and that kind of overwashes the whole job versus career conversation.
You mean about your job being part of your life, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you hear these stories all the time about, if you don't like what you do, change, move, get a different job maybe. So if you do find something that you do, why does it have to be 8:30 to 5:30? To be the best at something. And you look at all of those guys that are the best at something, whether it be in athletics, whether it be in sport, whether it be in business, politics, doesn't matter, whatever walk of life you look at. They consume themselves as part of their life in their business. It becomes a part of them. It's what they do. So therefore, then they don't differentiate work and non-work because it's all the same. So when you love something that much, and when you're really into something, you can consume yourself into something that much, it becomes part of your life. And therefore, then it doesn't matter that you might take a phone call at 9 o'clock at night. It's because there's people are calling you at 9 o'clock at night because they need you. That's a different way of looking at it. When someone needs you because they're looking for a job, or a client needs you to help your help, don't cut off at 5:30. It's just, that's.
You're in need of being an expert, and it's nice to be wanted.
Yeah, well, that's my plan. I used to love that. Going to the pub with my friends after work, and I get a call. I think the hot shot, Mr. Hotshot. Yeah, 1 minute, guys. I'm just gonna
hold on to that cup of beer.
Wolf of Wall Street or whatever. But but that was that was back in the day. But then the guys have embraced it. Our guys here really, really do embrace that. They've at the end of the day, their clients or their brand is them. Their brand isn't IT Works. IT Works is the umbrella, really, by which they have to fall back on. But their brand is them. If they're not a very good brand, they're not going to do very well. But if they see themselves as a very good brand, something that's accessible as much as they can possibly allow, God, imagine competition can't beat that. Yeah. And there's so many people who want a 9-to-5 job. Your competition can't live with that ethic. They just can't.
So for the past 10 plus years, I think what you've seen, and probably even before that, where you're still working in the in the system side of things, what have you seen that the individual that have captured that entrepreneurship versus entrepreneurship, some of the characters that you appreciate over time?
In terms of a character trait, people that have the ability to change and adapt. I mean, I'm 40-something years old now, 45, 46 years old, and I grew up having to learn how to, Microsoft Office was new to us now. The kids that are born nowadays, they're born with an iOS operating system embedded in their brain. They just,
they know how to swipe before they even know how to walk.
So you give them an iPhone, and they just know to tap or swipe. It's just, I just don't get that. But so there's a lot of us older ones that's had to adapt, learn different things. But I also think that there's a level of old school in what we do that belongs still in here, and that's the relationship part. Many people don't feel that there's this, it's called now social recruiting, which is all done on social media and LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., which is all great, and we utilize that to help present our brand positively, individual brands positively. But at the end of the day, you can't build a relationship unless you talk to somebody on the telephone.
Exactly.
And I think that is, because we're only working within small niches, it's imperative that we build those relationships. It really, really is. And those that can build those relationships and gain trust with somebody, it's a great thing because you never really have to worry about work anymore. If that makes sense. You don't have to worry about where is your next candidate or lead coming from, where is my next paycheck coming from, because it's almost like having a trade in recruitment. If you could adapt to the ways of the new ways recruitment is being done,
that's all magic.
It's like having in a trade. It really is. It's as good as being a bricklayer, or a roofer, or a plumber, or an electrician. It is equally as big a career as those guys. Because once you know how to do it and do it well, you'll always know how to do it well. You just will. You can go, you retire on the back of a boat, which is a dream of mine really. But retire on the back of the boat if I want to,
Somewhere in the Pacific Northwest?
Maybe, up in Canada somewhere would be nice. Vancouver maybe. But it'd be nice to be able to just pick up the phone and do what you need to do to keep you fresh, whilst you're kind of maybe semi-retired. Who knows? But
personal question: what made that part of the continent, I guess, or environment that's attracts you so much?
I've just been there 3 or 4 times really. The region really, really suits me. I really like it up there. It looks great. You've got mountains, you've got the sea, you've got the wildlife. Not that I'm, a tree hugger or wildlife expert or anything like that, but I love the idea of being able to have a boat, go off and just whale watch. Or, I'm not a big skier, but I love the idea of being able to walk up to the mountain and just have a go when I fancied it. It's just all facets of things that I've wanted to do as I've grown through life. They're all there on your doorstep up there. So who knows? It may not happen, but
I think it may change.
We'll do it for a while. That's for sure. If the wife and the dogs will allow me, let's go get the dogs used to being on a boat first. So.
An adventure and a dream to live on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. Let's see. what are the things that, because I know you and I share a lot of inspiration videos, quotes quite often. What are the things that personally that have meant something to you deeply through the years that
That meant something to me deeper. What, in terms of a phrase or video or?
yeah, or item, could be sometimes a movie, song, an
I, I,
artist.
well, you know, I watch a lot of these motivation type videos. I'm you know,
Was there something that in there at some point that triggered you being the person that?
yeah, there was one. There was one. And it's like you hear it quite a lot. Actually, Will Smith does a good bit on it. Actually, Will Smith's a very, very good motivational speaker. And there's one is that quite frankly says it's okay to fail, and that you should have a fear of failure, but at the same time, it's okay to fail because it's the failure that drives you. And really, when I watch that, because that's something that I have. You know, I'm a failed football player. You know, I wanted to be something when I was 15, 16 years old, and it worked out that I wasn't very good at it. So that I was failed at that, and that fear has gone with me throughout my whole life because I didn't succeed at something. So there's a fear of failure again. I don't want that to happen. So I'll do whatever it takes, but it's okay to fail and get things wrong as long as you get yourself back up and keep pushing on and learn from the mistakes. That's okay. We tell these guys here that every day. It's all right to get it wrong. It's all right to phone up a client and just get it completely wrong. Phone it back and just be better the next time. It's fine.
There's nothing cannot be recovered in this regard.
God, so. As long as no one's died or no one's hurt, it doesn't matter, does it? It's only a phone call. You know, and you have to kind of remind yourself sometimes. You speak to clients. Sometimes you remind them clients as well, because clients for some reason are our challenge. You know, I don't know why, because we're trying to really
So they're
bring
holding grudges on something that's so tiny.
Unfortunately, we're in an industry that hasn't got a great reputation, and when you do try to do it right, you're just labelled with the same problem as many. So you know, there is almost a re-education half the time of what we're trying to achieve. I forget where I was going with this now, but the clients are the biggest challenge in the. Getting that trust from them, and sometimes you have to maybe even say to them and remind them, look, no one's getting hurt here. You know, we're trying our best for each other, and you know, just tell me what you need. And sometimes there's they want you to work for. They want you to work for them, but they won't always give you the information you need to do it. And you say to them, look, come on, just common sense prevails here. And I hope many clients are watching this because I've had many conversations with many clients over the years, and they get it. You know, many have had to say to them, "You will come back." You know, I get what you're saying, and it's not about the money half the time. They automatically think that your service isn't going to work for them. You have to prove yourself. Always like proving yourself every day. And I don't mind that.
Yeah, and also by doing the right thing too.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know that they always come back. And obviously, that anybody have any questions, they can always phone us up 678-291-0081. When happy to answer any portion of your question.
You do that so well.
I only saw every day.
When I was back in the UK, we laughed about that because it was almost like Kyan stops you midway through this and says, and 678.
I just don't know our California number actually.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll keep that in check for a few months. So what's on the horizon now for Mr. Gary Dytor?
Lots of things now. We'd like to reevaluate the five-year plan. Simply, we did it early.
For a good cause.
Well, one of our guys here, Matt, said to me a few weeks ago that we were talking about goals and plans, and we do a nice goal setting and training here. He asked me the question, so what's the next 5 years? And I couldn't answer because we've been so focused on the here and the now and getting to the original 5-year plan that what's next. So, you know, we've got lots of ideas and lots of things that we want to do, and we've had lots of discussions. And you know, and myself, Tim, and Darren have talked an awful lot about where we want this thing to go. And so we've just set up we're just setting our next 5 years to be that $100 million company. It's going to be a huge task because it means probably hiring around about, I would guess, 30 more people, 40 more people.
So please call me 678.
Yeah, in the next 3 or 4 years. We're going to use our offshore partners as well. We're going to utilize their resources because we're very big into data and data quality.
Yeah.
So we're going to use them to build our markets for us. And like I said before, getting more involved in a volume-based market that's going to complement our already niches. So you've heard of RPO, recruitment processes outsourcing, vendor management systems. So we're going to blend that over the next year and see how far we can take that very quickly. But there is no reason why we couldn't be that $100 million company in the next 5 to 7 years, without a doubt. Not without a doubt.
On a personal side, what do you have planned for you?
Well, honestly, a holiday. Mandy doesn't know this yet, but a holiday.
Thank you, Mandy. I
want
know
to.
it.
I need a holiday. I've not had a holiday in 4 years, so we're going to go away somewhere. She doesn't know it, but her family coming over from the UK for most of July. Once they buggered off, we're going to go off away for a week, and I'm going to hire like a camper van. What do you call them? Winnebago things.
Yeah.
And I hire one of them and just probably do the southern route and go down the beaches.
That'd be lovely.
Take the dogs. The dogs will be okay with that. So.
The Gulf Shores area.
Yeah. So go down there for probably a week there and a week back. So 2 weeks. So, and then come back in August, at the end of August, ready to go. Get the new budget in place and on again.
Back to work.
I'm back to work. Yeah.
I do want to have something I want to share with you because I obviously did our whole Garyism campaign. I think on the sub line throughout the week. I think internally we had a lot of fun. I think gathering all the information together, what we know Gary from some of them actually well over a decade. And also as a few folks that you write a few lines that have an opportunity to say something to you within one line. They don't normally have the opportunity, which they do, but in a hopefully last emotional and corny kind of way.
Are they nice?
If you
A few?
some of them are.
Oh,
If not, make me read off some of them. I can probably guess some of them where they're coming from.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty good general consensus. I'm just pick a few. Folks ask them about one line. You can tell Gary, what would you tell Gary? No. So one of them is, thank you, Gary, for taking a chance on me, giving me the tools I need to be successful, and for making me a part of such a supportive and wonderful family.
Oh, nice. That's
And
lovely.
then another one was, thank you for helping me see that I'm more than what I thought I was, capable of more than what I realized, and then more resilient than I believe myself to be. So, actually another person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fairly new to our family. So,
Interesting.
thank you for being a leader who truly stands by the company vision, mission, values, and culture. And I think that really says a lot. I think that everybody have heard me, and also the folks that have come on board so far with me, that I talk about that day in and day out. Every moment I'm in the video, this is the man that brought everything together, initiated it, and it brought everything come to fruition.
You asked me before about a phrase. It was, I forget what the actual phrase goes like. That was Richard Branson that said it. Is that what was the success of Virgin? And it was to hire people, to hire great people. And there you go. There's the answer to your question as to what is it. And that's what we do here. We hire great people.
So for those folks that potentially great people, or I'm not sure some of you guys are great, but for those folks that were watching this video, potentially perspective, want to find out who we are, what we're about, what words of wisdom do you have to share with them?
About IT works or
Yeah.
just generally about recruitment?
About, actually, probably both, actually.
Okay, I knew you were going to say both. Okay, so I would suggest that from a recruitment standpoint, if you're not working in recruitment, research it. Because it's such a high and low. You're going to hear that phrase an awful lot. There's lots of highs, lots of lows. There's a roller coaster ride, all the old cliches you get, which it is. You're dealing with people in this job, and people seem to disappoint each other very quickly.
Yeah.
We just do. We're working with emotions. If you're not emotionally intelligent, forget about it. If you can't empathize, sympathize, or even influence, and feel you have a level of influence to be able to influence people, and I don't mean con people either. There is a big difference there. Or if you're frightened of influencing people, don't get into recruitment. But if you feel that you've got personal self-imposed limitations that you want to overcome, or that you have to overcome, then make sure you choose the right recruitment company. Because if you don't choose the right recruitment company, I'm not even talking about IT works, but you can go into recruitment and it'd be the wrong company and it'll scare you off for life. But if you get the right company, that you get the support, the nurture, the backing, the training, the expertise, all these things that you would hope to get, that you would get maybe from a top 4 kind of consulting firm, but sometimes at a boutique firm it's better. It will turn you off for life if you don't get it right, if you don't make the right choice. So don't try to just jump into it. Another thing I would say is don't focus on the base salary. There's so many, especially in America, actually, we notice it more here in America, there's so many recruiters out there that focus on the base salary. Base isn't everything. If anything, base is a limitation to you because it makes you comfortable. If you use your base salary as a means to pop up your life, and you use your commissions to pay for your holiday, you're not goal driven. You have to be goal driven, because You can earn a hell of a lot of money in this job. You really, really can. But if you go into something already focusing on the base salary, that's a big self-imposed limitation. You're going into the company for the wrong reasons. So.
Woo! This is gonna be a great deal. I think that
she's gonna cry.
And before we reveal all the client information, we'll probably end it right here.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, thank you, Kyan.
Thank you,
I would
Gary.
say to you, this is actually a brilliant format. Everybody that I speak to really, really compliments you. And I love the stories that you tell me when you go off to a conference somewhere and they say, "Oh, you're the guy with the mug, aren't you?" Yeah, that tells me the brand's getting out there. We've just hired another talent acquisition person to work for Kyan, Melissa, who starts with us in a few weeks. We're going to be hiring 17 to 18 people within the next 6 to 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks. So that's really, really exciting growth for us. And to have Melissa on board is going to be awesome. So I'm sure she'll do this with you at some point.
She's probably watching it right now.
Yeah.
So please comment, share, like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you know anybody who wants to get into recruitment and they want to speak to me personally, or if you work for another recruitment company and just want to speak to me about ideas, I don't mind. You don't have to come and work here to come and pick my brain. You really don't. You know, and cheers, mate. You're really good. You're awesome. You're awesome. We're going to do this to you one of these days. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Gary. Thank you.
Good man. Love you, buddy. Love you.
We'll see you next week. Any question, please give us a call. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.